We just came back from Poland, and while I was there, I decided to get a few art supplies, and so I figured I would do a little art supply haul and show you what I got. The first thing I'm going to start with is actually a journal that I got from one of my friends as a gift for Christmas. And this one has 300 pages, plain paper, and the paper is pretty light. So I'm thinking of using this mostly for pencil sketching. I really like the format of this sketchbook, it being in a almost perfect square. It does have a lot of pages, so I'm very excited to be using this. Thank you, my dear friend, for getting this for me. So I'm going to keep going with journals, and the next one is also very exciting. I bought it at this store called Paper Concept. It's, as you can tell here, mixed media, and it's a very heavy weight. Mostly I'm probably going to be using it for watercolor and acrylics for quick sketching. Well, I just ripped that paper right off. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but it does have texture to it. Oh, maybe when I bend it like this. So yeah, I'm also very excited to be using this sketchbook. The next one is very fancy. Not sure if it says how many pages there are, but there are many pages here. I think the little sticker that it came with, I think I got rid of it, so it did say how, obviously the price and how many pages there are. But I'm excited to use it for landscapes and cityscapes because of the format. I am going to be using it horizontally, possibly like this, maybe for portraits. This would be really good. But I am envisioning using it mostly for, like I said, sketching out landscapes, nature, and maybe New York City. This one was like more of a fancy sketchbook that I got, Art Creations. I do like the little ribbon where you can mark where you left off, and the rubber band that keeps all the pages in place. That's very handy. And the next one is also from Paper Concept, black mixed media paper. I recently painted a botanical composition on a black background, and I want to experiment a little bit more with this and maybe use acrylics and pastels. So this is my plan for this sketchbook. So now I have two like pretty heavyweight paper. So 25 and 25 will give me 50 sheets of paper to experiment on. The next two sketchbooks are pretty plain. You can get them here in the United States at Blick Art Supplies. I've gotten them in the past in different sizes. For sketching, this is very handy. You can just take this with you. And this one is obviously made by Canson. Pretty good quality paper. This is more for like everyday sketching. And I've got another one, but at a different store, a little bit wider. Don't know if you can tell, but this one, they're the same height, but this one is a little bit wider. And I did start using this one already. I was very excited. This was the first one that I got during the holidays and the New Year. My very first sketch was this floral composition. I was at a restaurant in the hotel and they had these beautiful flower arrangements for Christmas. So I decided might as well do a quick sketch while I wait for my food. And yeah, and this is what happened. And the second sketch of the year was just a selfie that I took on the train. Later that night, I decided to use my markers and paint the selfie that I took. So like a little mini self-portrait. I used these markers here. So it was a limited a palette that I used, limited colors, which I think sometimes is a great idea, or almost always a great idea, to kind of use fewer colors when you're experimenting, and of course when you're learning. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I got a lot of compliments on this sketch. It's very spontaneous and I'm hoping to do more. And this is it. This is what I got for 2024 so far. I'm hoping to use this in the next month in January and fill this up. So that's it for sketchbooks. I think I showed you all of them. The next thing I want to focus on is these fancy brushes, paint brushes. So I got quite a few of them. My very first purchase was this fancy watercolor brush that uses natural hair. This is pure squirrel. I don't know if you can see it. I have my camera focusing kind of in the middle here, but also it's very small, so you probably can't see it. Anyway, this is all natural squirrel hair. I usually don't buy these, they're very expensive, but I wanted to splurge a little bit, and I think, you know, it's very good to have at least one of them in your collection of brushes when you're using ink and watercolor. What I like about these, you know, they usually have a pointy tip. I was messing around with it right now, so it's not as pointy as it was when I first bought it, but once I will submerge it in water and paint, I will get that beautiful shape. And you can paint with the tip, you basically paint the details, and when you press down on the brush, you can start painting wider strokes. So that's for this brush. There's about two similar brushes. This one is a sable and horse and goat hairbrush. As you can see, they're very similar to this one. I did not have a chance to mess around with them, so they're very like pristine still inside of their casing. And what I do like about them again is that beautiful tip point where you can paint the details in watercolor and ink. So I will be using these a lot. The next one is brushes that I got. I believe this is a Polish company, Renaissance. These are just acrylic brushes with synthetic hair. I do like to work with square brushes, so I will mostly use these for details when I'm painting with acrylics. These are pretty small, and I always, run out of them because I use them a lot. I bought this calligraphy pen, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use it for calligraphy specifically, but I might use it just to make some experimental marks in my sketchbooks. And the next segue is from these brushes to the ink. I got two types of inks. Black Indian ink, which is very popular, and what I'm excited about is this Winsor & Newton ink, and it comes in ultramarine. There were two different blue colors, but I decided to get the ultramarine. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but the blue color is very beautiful. And I'm very excited to use this ink. Again, this is Winsor & Newton Ultramarine and Indian Black ink. I think this one is just a basic one. I think it's German. Might be German or Chinese. Made in China? Indian ink made in China. Anyway, the next thing I would like to show you is these markers. I really like the Tombow markers. I use them a lot. I have a lot of different colors. These are more muted colors that I actually tried out in the store, and this is how they look like. I think these will be really good for my botanicals, sketching flowers and other floral motifs. I always try to, when I pick up markers, I always look for these muted colors. And I highly recommend them. They last a really long time. They have two tips. Sometimes I even use them for writing, but you can use them, for painting and sketching. So these are really good. And of course I had to get the Winsor & Newton Pro Maker brushes. I got these in the set, mainly again for just to add to my collection of markers for quick sketching. And what I wanted to tell you about this is the difference between the Tombow marker and these Pro Maker brushes, because it's very significant difference. So these Pro Maker brushes from Winsor & Newton do have also two tips. One of them looks like a highlighter end, and the other one looks like a brush. And what's very cool about these is that it does act like a paintbrush, where you can paint the details with the tip of the marker, and then when you press down on it, it's like very soft and it makes like a wider mark. Maybe I'll show it to you, not on my finger, but on the paper. So you can use it in two different ways. If you gently, start sketching, you will have this thin line. But if you press down on it, you start sketching, you start painting and press down on it, it will give you an effect of, like, I guess I want to say a paintbrush, where you can go in and out of it being thin and thick. So these are really cool. With the Tombow, they do not have the flexibility. Like when you press down on it, it's pretty, like the tip is pretty hard and the marker itself is hard. So I would not recommend pressing down on it because you might just ruin the marker. you mainly use it for like the end of the marker and, you know, kind of like making some marks and strokes like this. So in order for you to have a thick line, you just have to go a few times. So that's the difference between these two. And the last thing I wanted to show you is these acrylic paints that I got. And this seems sort of random, but I saw this artist using the really funky colors, really bright colors, bright colored acrylics as her base, as her underpainting, and it did give like a really cool effect. So I'm really excited to again use these as well. And actually the very last thing is just this graphite block that I will use for quick sketching. So that is it. That's what I got in Poland, and what I spent on this whole art supply haul was 253 złotych and 61 groszy, which in dollars is $64.74, which I think it is a great deal. I think just like a brush like this, a professional watercolor brush would cost me anywhere from, I want to say, $25 to even $50. 60. I've seen brushes that are like $60, very expensive ones. So I think this was very, worth getting, and it gives me a few different mixed media supplies that I can use for my sketchbook journey. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and follow my channel for more content. You will see how I'm using each and every one of these in my future sketchbook and artwork. And I'll see you on the next one.